A very good evening. I'm Kritsween Walia and watching the Newshour with me. Let's quickly talk about the very explosive charges that have been levelled by a BJP MP. Ladies and gentlemen, Nishikant Dubey has written a letter to Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla making explosive allegations against TMC MP Mahua Moitra. According to the BJP MP, the TMC lawmaker raised questions against Gautam Adani in the parliament in exchange for gifts and cash from another tycoon, Darshan Hiranandani. Citing research work by a Supreme Court advocate, the BJP MP alleges that Mahua Moitra asked 50 out of 61 questions in the parliament to protect and perpetuate Darshan Hiranandani's business interests. The MP went on to claim that Moitra had skillfully created a facade over the years, giving the impression that she was critical of the government in order to hide her secret criminal operation. He maintains that the documents he possesses clearly demonstrate that Mahua plotted a criminal conspiracy. He's calling for a parliamentary inquiry panel to investigate the accusations and the allegations and for immediate suspension of the TMC MP. Jai Anand Dehadrai, in a letter addressed to BJP MP Nishikant Dubey, and this is where it all began. He claims that TMC MP was receiving expensive gifts from Darshan Hiranandani's firm, the gifts ranging from iPhones to luxury designer scarves, and from brands like Louis Vuitton, crocodile bags from Birla, and packets of cash in rupees and pounds were allegedly received by the TMC MP. The Supreme Court lawyer claims that a sum of 2 crore rupees was also delivered to an associate of Mahua Moitra, who is also a lawmaker from Odisha. Jai Anand Dehadrai further alleges that Mahua shared her Lok Sabha login credentials with Mr. Hiranandani to post these questions. Without much ado, and before we quickly open this up and also talk about the official response that has come in from the Hiranandani group, we have that reaction. So let's first up break down details of what the Hiranandani group has said. This is the latest, as has been shared by the Hiranandani group, the clarification that's come in after these very serious allegations by the BJP MP while citing the research work of this advocate. The Hiranandani group's statement on the allegations, wherein the group says these allegations have no merit. We've always been in the business of business and not in the business of politics. Our group has always worked with the government in the interest of the nation and will continue doing so. So this is the response, and we have Madhav with us. A response by the Hiranandani group, Madhav, which is just about a 2-line response to the 40-odd pages research which was first put by the Supreme Court advocate, thereafter cited by the BJP MP as far as this massive allegation is concerned. Madhav.
Well, absolutely, and in fact, the fact is that these are, of course, allegations that are being made at this point of time. But if there is some truth to it, then perhaps they could be quite serious in nature. Already, of course, the member of parliament has written to the speaker to initiate proceedings, and therefore it is very important because the allegation made by Nishikant Dubey is that this is a cash for query matter, and that he has alleged involvement of Mahua Moitra, member of parliament of Lok Sabha, for what he considers to be a quote-unquote breach of privilege, contempt of the House, and a criminal offence under Section 120A of the Indian Penal Code. This is what Nishikant Dubey has written as the subject of his letter to the Speaker. Now, what he is also going on to elaborate, as you rightly mentioned, is that there is some kind of gifts that have been exchanged by this business tycoon and the Member of Parliament, and he has gone on further to elaborate how several of the questions asked, of the 62 questions asked, about 50 of those questions are pertaining to business interests of this particular business tycoon. That's the charge that is being made by Jai Anand Dehadrai, and he is alleging that how this is a quid pro quo is that there were gifts that were exchanged. There were all sorts of, from luxury shoes to clothing to bags, phones, as well as even other items, including the refurbishing of this member of parliament's house, allegedly has been done at the behest of the business group. This is the allegations coming in. The Hiranandani group, of course, has completely denied these charges. Even Mahua Moitra has, in fact, referred to this in a tweet that she has put out, saying that legal teams should be used for other purposes, not for this. And also, of course, the Hiranandani group has denied it, saying that they have worked with various governments and in national interest. That's the official statement that has come in. But what remains to be seen now is what happens as far as this particular charge is concerned, whether the Speaker refers it to the Committee of Parliament that looks into the matter related related to privileges, whether he feels that it would merit a separate committee's formation, as we have seen in the past happen, for instance, in 2005. And of course, he's demanded the suspension of Mahua Moitra. Well, the Speaker, whether he can do such aspects without a proper committee looking into the seriousness and whether these charges can actually be proved, whether there's enough material for the same. These, of course, at this point of time, are very, very important questions as far as the procedural aspects of how this matter would further proceed is concerned. But certainly what one can expect is a political controversy out of it. We can expect, given that it is a BJP MP who's made these charges against MP, that all political parties would come out and put out their responses. We can expect a massive political fight on this issue in coming days.
All right. We also have with us Pragya and Arunil. Arunil, though the Hiranandani group has come out with a statement, says these allegations have no merit. We've always been in the business of business and not in the business of politics. This particular break, and we continue to repeat here on Times Now, Madhav, this is all in the realm of allegations so far. But Arunil, it's likely to create a massive political storm.
Well, there is no doubt about it. Very serious allegations being leveled against the TMC MP Mahua Moitra. Basically, a detailed statement has been given out by the Hiranandani group as well. Very prominent real estate developers based out from Mumbai, certainly, but the real estate developers have projects across India, prominent projects across India. In a detailed statement, basically, they have said that there is no merit in the allegation made by the BJP MP. We basically are in the business of business and not in the business of politics. That's what basically they are saying. And also mentioning about the fact that how the Hiranandani group has worked with the government, whichever government has been in power, for the benefit of our countrymen. Till now, they are denying all the allegations, but the charges against Mahua Moitra are very, very serious. She has basically denied all of them, and in a recent tweet, hit out at the BJP MP, basically saying that I have used, basically making a very sarcastic remark, saying that I have used all that illegal money to build colleges and universities, which can provide a degree to my counterpart who's making these allegations, and also asked the Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla to check the fake affidavits, alleged fake affidavits that the BJP MP has produced.
Okay, all right. Let's highlight this for our viewers. Many thanks for that, Arunil. Jay Anant Dehadre, the lawyer we're talking about, the advocate we're talking about, has submitted a copy of this complaint to Nishikant Dubey, another complaint to the Lok Sabha Speaker, has also submitted the complaint separately to the CBI while sharing the copy of the same with Nishikant Dubey. Pragya, amidst all of these allegations and very serious in nature, you must tell us about Mahua Moitra's response, because she's refuted these allegations outrightly.
So basically, Mahua Moitra has refuted this allegation. In fact, she has said that before you take action on me, you need to take action on all the Adani deals as well. She has been breaking up the Adani issue for quite some time now, and this is what exactly she is saying. And she also made a very sarcastic remark on the legislator, on the MP as well, when she said that, all the fake degree walas are after me, and they are in fact cooking up stories and all. So basically, Mahua Moitra is on offensive right now. However, the things may turn uglier with all this blame game happening, and all the corporates are also involved in. Mahua Moitra has also made a very sarcastic remark, saying that I'm using all my ill-gotten cash college and university, as Arunil rightly said. She has also requested Om Birla to finish the inquiries against the MP and also the false affidavits that may have been submitted. Also, she commented on the CBI headquarters as well, as this particular complaint has gone to CBI. So she is also saying that when you inquire into my alleged money laundering, you should also inquire in Adani's offshore money trail. However, Christine, I should tell you when such kind of complaints go to Lok Sabha Speaker, there is bound to be an inquiry that could be constituted. Either this could go to Ethics Committee.
Okay.
Even Ethics Committee will constitute an inquiry. While the FIR cannot be lodged against her right now, because she also enjoys the immunity being an MP, this all can change. It all depends on the Supreme Court verdict that is slated to come by next week. They have reserved the verdict, where central government in fact has appealed to and submitted a document saying that if there is a bribery case against an MP or a legislator for voting or for making speech in the House, they should be prosecuted. Till now, they enjoy the immunity under Article 105 of 2 and 194(2) of the Constitution, and that is why the action cannot be taken against them. But this all could change in coming days, is what we are also hearing, and this is exactly why the FIR has not been filed in this case till now.
So there are multiple layers to what may happen, but for now we're going to keep our focus on what we know and what has been alleged, all of it in the realm of allegations, and I'm going to quickly focus on the documents that we have so far. Let's start with the BJP MP's letter. This is the letter which has been written by Nishikant Dubey, who's a member of parliament. The subject is re-emergence of nasty cash for query in parliament, direct involvement of Mahua Moitra, member of parliament, for serious breach of privilege, contempt of the house and a criminal offence under section 120 of the IPC. Says in a receipt of a letter from Shri Jai Anand Dehadrai, this is the man we've been speaking about, the advocate. He shared irrefutable evidence of bribes exchanged between Mahua Moitra, the member of parliament, and Shri Darshan Hiranandani, a well-known business tycoon. Talks about the 50 questions in parliament, almost suggests that these questions were dictated. They were dictated by this business tycoon to Mahua Moitra. Of the 61 questions, these 15 questions shockingly seek information with the intent of protecting or perpetuating business interests of Shri Darshan Hiranandani and his company. Thereafter goes on to talk about how, after having meticulously gone through all the papers, documents, there is not an iota of doubt about a criminal conspiracy hatched by Mahua Moitra, and this to garner and protect the business interests of a businessman, once again mentioning Darshan Hiranandani. Now, with the unmasking of quid pro quo, says Nishikant Dubey, in form of ugly and deliberate motive of Mahua Moitra to raise money from a businessman in lieu of asking questions in Lok Sabha, targeting another business group, it's become amply clear that the edifice of morality being exhibited by Mahua Moitra was nothing but a Machiavellian camouflage for committing a crime by entering into a criminal conspiracy. That's what this hard-hitting letter is all about. Let's also talk about what has been claimed by this person, this lawyer we're talking about, Mr. Jai Anand Dehadrai. This is, of course, the affidavit, and there are some very, very crucial points that must be highlighted. He talks about how this complaint is to bring on record the facts and circumstances which indicate the commission of an elaborate criminal conspiracy between the period, and this is important, period 2019 to 2023, by Mahua Moitra, the member of parliament, for obtaining bribes, pro quo, and undue advantage as her reward for granting complete and unfettered access to her online Lok Sabha account. This becomes very, very sensational, that Mahua Moitra allegedly shared her online Lok Sabha account to Shri Darshan Hiranandani, who misused this direct access to post and submit parliamentary questions. This is where it gets very interesting. Goes on to talk about how this is a criminal conspiracy between Mahua Moitra and Mr. Hiranandani, and it was aimed at asking parliamentary questions in Lok Sabha, where Mr. Hiranandani could further the Hiranandani Group's business interests for its own business entities. Talks about all of these business entities, and here is where the said advocate talks about the kind of gifts and money that was exchanged. It talks about the undersigned has also witnessed Moitra receiving multiple valuable gifts such as iPhones, diamond, emerald jewelry, luxury items, so on and so forth. How she was in possession of a packet containing £20,000 sterling in cash at her 0B residence. These are the pointed observations which have come in from this advocate, Mr. Jay Anand Deradrai, who speaks of all of these questions, goes on to establish these 61 questions and why they may be objectionable in nature. Furthermore, this is the fifth point of the affidavit, which says Shri Hiranandani referred to Mahua Moitra as his very own Santa's little helper. The quid pro quo in this criminal conspiracy, which stretched from 2018 to 23, entailed a web of domestic and international financial transactions. The undersigned overheard a conversation in March 2020 between Mr. Hiranandani and Mahua Moitra, to a payment of 75 lakh rupees given directly to Mahua Moitra. And this prior to the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, presumably to help her meet election expenses as well. So it's also talking about an election funding angle perhaps. This payment was meant to finance the expenditure of Mahua Moitra's election campaign and candidature from Krishnanagar constituency. Apart from this, what's also very interesting is that it talks about a tranche of 2 crore rupees in cash which was made via Hawala channels to a very close associate of Mahua Moitra, also a member of parliament from Odisha, with whom the funds were ultimately kept for safe keeping. The last point I want to touch upon before we quickly open this up with our guest joining us this evening is how it says in 2019, after winning the Lok Sabha elections from Krishnanagar, Mahua Moitra was allotted a home at 9B Telegraph Lane. However, she was extremely dissatisfied with the allotment as it was in a state of disrepair owing to a long period of disuse. But the CPWD could not do what Mr. Hiranandani did for Mahua Moitra. It talks about an introduction of a man, Zakir Nizami, who took care of repair works. So remember, this is the allegations once again which is now being referred to, as was pointed out by Madhav as well, how she made multiple phone calls to Shri Hiranandani expressing her dissatisfaction at the budgetary limitations of the CPWD in being able to renovate her house to high standards, and Mr. Hiranandani offered to him to have her entire house virtually demolished and redesigned by his team of architects based in Mumbai. Because remember, Mr. Hiranandani operates from Mumbai, as Arunil was also just highlighting. So there are several aspects to this story, as has been alleged by the Supreme Court advocate. Need to quickly open this up. With that, introduce our guest joining us this evening. We have Ms. Priyanka Tebriwal, BJP spokesperson, along with political analyst Gargi Nandi Roy. We also have with us political analyst Siddha Brata Das. Mr. Das, I want to begin with you. A host of allegations, of course, we are reiterating time and again, it's all in the realm of allegations so far. What do you make of these allegations? The BJP MP Nishikant Dubey has raised it and he's asked the Lok Sabha Speaker to take care of this at the earliest. What do you make of this allegation, first up, and how do you think Ms. Mahua Moitra has responded in the latest? Does she need to answer more, you think?
Great allegations require great evidences. Anybody can allege anything, but the person who is alleging must provide the evidences upon which he is saying all those things. Let him put forward the evidences on which he is saying all those things. I think Mahua Moitra will come up with a statement befitting all the questions that has been posed to her.
No, she's refuted all of those allegations. But what do you make of these questions? This affidavit, sir, talks about 61 questions, and the lawyer here concerned who's raised this entire episode says of these 61 questions, 50 questions indicated at one or the other aspect, one of these questions which were perhaps put out to several ministries, part of the government, and were basically questioning the Adani group. Why do you think that was a reoccurring pattern then?
See, whatever question that person is posing, the person must be having evidences. And the person should provide the evidences, and only then we can conclude. Because anybody can allege anything. That doesn't prove the thing. He must prove it, whatever he is saying. Only when he can prove it, we can draw a conclusion on those things.
Okay. Ms. Tebriwal, how would you respond?
See, firstly, I would like to say whether there is an iota of any truth involved in this complaint or not. That is, it will soon come out after the investigation is done or completed. But if this comes out to be a gospel truth, then I'm saying that this is a very serious charge, because she is not just a member of parliament, but it is that the people have taken her there to the parliament to ask specific questions, but which has any kind of value, which are in the interest of the public at large and not in the interest of any industrialist. See, it is every time we have seen Mahua Moitra talking only about Adani, Adani, Adani. So now it is very well understood why she was only talking about Adani. See, because she was trying to protect somebody's interest, because she was perpetuating somebody's interest. She was trying to garner someone's interest. That is the reason every time. And see, there are like-minded people like her as well. And like Mr. Jairam, Ramesh and all, we have also seen. So you see, these are nothing but, birds of the same feather who are flocking together. We have seen, now look at their interest. What do they do as anti-nationals? Look at their mindset. They are the people who support NewsClick. They are the people, who support Prabir Purkayastha. They are the people from Congress who try to pick up things and post in their official website. Now you can very well understand that this is not in the interest of the people of India at large, but in the personal interest. And what are they getting in return? That is also very specific and clear. See, an advocate who has given a complaint like this, where he has said what all this lady has received, whether in cash, whether in kind, whether in, gifts, whatever, when somebody is making such specific charges, which means that definitely he has a lot of evidences to prove the same. Now we are looking forward to this being investigated, and this should be investigated by the CBI. And if found guilty, Mahua Moitra is nobody very special. She should be prosecuted under the law of the land.
Okay, how seriously should we take these allegations? Mr. Tausif Ahmed Khan, political analyst, is also with us this evening. How seriously do you think, Mr. Khan, we should and we must take these allegations which have been levelled by Mr. Jay Anant Dehadrai and of course have been used by the BJP MP Nishikant Dubey to raise all of those questions against the TMC MP, because it talks about election funding, it talks about refurbishing of her house, the allotted house to her. It also talks about several luxury items which were gifted to her, cash to the tune of 2 crore rupees, so on and so forth. The list is endless. And all of this, as is being alleged, was only done so that this particular business tycoon, Mr. Hiranandani, could dictate questions to Ms. Mahua Moitra, and she could raise those questions with the BJP in the parliament.
You see, it is not Mahua Moitra who is under the scanner under the Hindenburg report. It is Adani who has to provide answers. It is Adani who is being probed by the investigative agencies of central government. It is Adani who has to address each of the scam and each of the queries that Hindenburg report has told us. When this BJP MP raises these kind of allegations, he is at least admitting that there is some kind of a scam, some kind of nexus between a corporate house and the parliamentarian. And when he says this, he is exposing all the members of parliament. Now, please tell me, why will a businessman make a deal with a parliamentarian who is not in power? A businessman will always make a deal with a parliamentarian who is in power. And which is that person? That person is Mr. Narendra Modi himself. Please see why, in spite of innumerable questions raised by Mahua Moitra, Prime Minister refuses to address this question. Why Prime Minister is protecting Adani? Why Adani is allotted airport?
So Tausif Ahmed Khan is raising the questions Mahua Moitra raised in the parliament, Gargi Nandi Roy. It's only because these questions were aimed at the Adani group is why these kind of allegations are being levelled against her.
Christine, the problem with the TMC is if you ask them a question of maths, he will answer you the answer of English or geography. So they go to Adani. Now coming to Mahua Moitra, nothing to be surprised about. TMC has a specialization in making money, whether by selling jobs, selling cows, so they can sell questions too. Now coming to Mahua Moitra is the MP of Krishnanagar. As the MP of Krishnanagar, of the 61 questions, just see how many questions was asked which were related to Krishnanagar. You will not mostly find none. I've spoken to people of Krishnanagar before coming to the show, they have forgotten her face because she is never visible there. There is pressing issues at Krishnanagar. There is a river called Anjana River which has dried, become a gutter because of some mafias there. No question, no nothing about that. There was a flyover which was supposed to come at Birla at Krishnanagar. No question. So just tell me, of the 61 question, first responsibility of an elected representative is to represent the constituency. How many questions were related to Krishnanagar, Tausif? None. So why was only Adani? When Adani is also doing a Tajpur port at West Bengal, when Adani comes to West Bengal, then there it is okay. But otherwise, so there has to be an investigation, and it is quite known. Whenever there is a protest against some business group, it has been found out before also.
Report is not about
foreign-funded NGO. Let's not talk about Hindenburg is a short-selling group. Hindenburg is not holier than thou something. Okay, so that is not.
Then why
is also doing in Rajasthan, state. And so let's not come to Mahua Moitra. So I'm telling you logically, tell me how many questions about Krishnanagar? If none, if people of Krishnanagar are, and let's forget of the Noida district, the same constituency district where Mahua Moitra is the MP. You remember Manik Bhattacharya, who was the MLA? Priyanka knows, he was arrested by ED. So he was selling jobs. So, you know, TMC has made a specialization. So now they are representing corporates in the parliament, and it is sad. And if there are allegations, the allegations are serious. They have to be investigated. You cannot dodge questions by just every time going to Adani. Your record has stuck at one point, and Adani, come out of that and answer the question.
Okay, so how is it that these 50 questions interested Mahua Moitra is what you're trying to ask the TMC? Gargi Nandi Roy.
Yes.
I'm going to highlight one such question. There are 50 questions and we don't have so much time, unfortunately. Perhaps we'll be able to take it up since this is likely to explode. But Mr. Das, you know, this is the 22nd question which dates back to 22nd July 2021, which says, will the Minister of New and Renewable Energy be pleased to state A, whether Solar Energy Corporation of India is issuing tenders for round-the-clock green power of coal combined renewable energy rather than natural gas combined renewable energy. B, if so, the details thereof and the reasons thereof. C, whether the government proposes any holistic green transition strategy to focus on green power. This is one example, and Gargi Nandi Roy is asking, why does it interest Mahua Moitra? And the observation which has been made by this lawyer is also very interesting. He says this directly pertains to Hiranandani Group's interest in the natural gas sector as also green energy, which they were heavily promoting at that time. Yolta Infrastructure, which is of the Hiranandani Group, aimed in 2020 to use renewables to power his data centers. That's why this parallel is perhaps being drawn, Mr. Das.
See, our own Prime Minister is vouching for energy. Everybody is vouching for green energy. You cannot draw this conclusion. There is one more question that's coming up.
This is not a
why
coincidence.
BJP is so desperate
This
to
cannot be a
defend Adani,
coincidence.
and why BJP is so desperate when the Adani name comes? Why BJP is so
This is
desperate
just
in
one of the
defending them?
50 questions which you have said.
Again, this question is coming.
The
That
other
is there a
questions
difference
will
between the
prove.
two? That if anything happens to Adani in the name of Adani, BJP comes out in defense.
Okay,
So
anyone in the country, especially a member of parliament, must feel free to raise whatever questions he or she wishes to.
Yes.
Last rebuttal to Ms. Priyanka Tebrewal, since she wanted to respond.
See, that is what I am saying. They are free to ask questions and that is their job. They should do that. But see, what kind of coincidence is this? That out of other questions which she is asking, most of the questions work in the interest of somebody whom this person here says that, you know, she has taken money from to ask these questions. Why all the questions are in his interest? Now, that is the question. You see, TMC is somebody who defines corruption in India. So it is nothing magical nor very shocking because this is what they have been doing. And most of their MPs and ministers are in jail for the same reason. So Mahua Moitra has done corruption in Delhi. And their other
the big question still remains though, Ms. Tebrewal, because once again, like I said at the beginning of the debate, this is all in the realm of allegations still. Whether or not this is pure coincidence or, like Mr. Nishikant Dubey sees it, a nasty cash for query in the parliament. We'll know, we'll keep a close watch on this big story which is just beginning to develop. Gentlemen, ladies, thank you for joining us this evening.
Hour Special Edition.